and I walked into a glass door, and because I couldn't make out there was glass, and I banged my forehead so badly that I had a bump. So eventually, if you notice in that song, suddenly me and Abhishek are wearing a headband. We've tied that cloth on the head because my bump had become so big. My sons, it's lockdown, and I always wanted them to grow their hair long, but they didn't listen to me. They all like short hair. And eventually, thanks to the lockdown, uh, my sons have long hair like I used to have. So I'm enjoying seeing them with their long hair. Hi, this is Bobby Deol celebrating my 25 years with Peeping Moon. So here I am to answer all your questions. So let's begin. Well, Barsat, the story began where I was supposed to be directed by Shekhar Kapoor, and we shot for 27 days. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was the Mahurat was done on my birthday, and we shot for 27 days. But whilst we were shooting, and before the second schedule could happen, Shekhar was offered Bandit Queen. So he decided it was a big thing for him to be a part of Hollywood. So my dad told him, please go ahead and do that. But for me, my son's career is really important as well. So I will decide on taking someone else. And that's how Raj Santoshi became a part of it. And the funniest thing is, a few days ago, I was talking to Raj, and Raj said that, मैं बैठा रहता था office में because he had just finished घायल, और मैं देखता रहता था यार बॉबी और ट्विंकल के साथ फिल्म बन रही है, काश मैं बना रहा होता. And then he said, शायद भगवान ने मेरी सुन ली और मैं डायरेक्टर बन गया. And I mean, it was the first time for me, and it was wonderful. It was shooting. We shot in Mysore, we shot in Manali, we shot in Mumbai, and I still remember shooting a sequence up in Rotang Pass. There was one day they decided that they had to shoot the song, but they wanted to shoot in the Magic Hour. Magic Hour was like a big thing those days, and I think it still exists. The Magic Hour. The light is beautiful. It's just a sunrise. So we had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, drive all the way to Rotang Pass from Manali, which takes you around 2.5 hours, because the roads are not very proper. We reached there by 4 o'clock, and the first shot was supposed to be taken at 5:30. And the fun part is that it's a song, so we were not wearing any warm clothes in the song. And I still remember, as soon as the sun came out and we started doing the shoot, and Twinkle fainted because of high altitude, less oxygen. And after a point when they started taking my solo shot, even I was losing, because I started laughing and crying at the same time. I couldn't understand what was happening to me. I think it's less oxygen was the reason why, and the cold was just getting us, really, it was really, really freezing cold. So, but that's the part of being in films. You have to go into locations and places where it's people think it's being an actor it's wonderful, but the kind of places we go and work at, it's not that easy. So I think that was one of those memories I have from there. And then shooting in the snow with Danny sir, we had the snow fight, and I was so excited. I was like a child. I was so excited. Every child likes to play in the snow, and here I was doing an action sequence. So first half an hour, I was like jumping around, playing with the snow, doing silly things in the snow. And when the shooting started, and after half an hour of shooting, you don't realize the ice melts, and the water, you get drenched with the water, which is actually water, ice. So we had to sit in front of HMI lights and, kind of dry our clothes. So that was fun. And then eventually the last day of my shoot was in a place called Lake District, where my brother decided that we had finished the shooting of the film, and he had decided that he wanted to enhance my introduction. And we went there to shoot some more shots. So the first shot you see in Barsat is my last shot, because I broke my leg, and it was a pretty bad accident, and I still have a rod in my leg. So, and that's why when I started shooting, and I already signed Gopt, I started shooting for Gopt, and I remember when I luckily shot Dunya Hasino Ka Mela, but the other songs like Uchaiyan, Gehraiyan, and one or two other songs which were supposed to be shot, I didn't do any leg movement because I couldn't move. So that's why my hand movements you see Uchaiya and Gehraiya, something like this. So that became like a trademark of a Bobby Deol style of dancing. So, but the reason why is because I had broken my leg. Well, I always wanted to have long hair, you know. It was something I was always very fascinated with. And I was lucky I had nice curly long hair. And you know, I still don't understand, but people or my fans and even the industry, even people, if they talk about long hair, they always think about Bobby Deol. And I think I was lucky enough they suited me the most. So in fact, before I speak about Soldier, my sons, you know, it's lockdown and I always wanted them to grow their hair long, but they didn't listen to me. They all like short hair. And eventually, thanks to the lockdown, uh, my sons have long hair like I used to have. So I'm enjoying seeing them with their long hair. But for me, Soldier was my first outing with Abbas Bhai, Mustan Bhai, and Hussain Bhai. And I think we share an amazing bond from the first time I met them till now. It was an amazing script. I still remember hearing it, just hearing the idea, and I was so hooked onto it. I was like, this is such a cool character to play. And we shot that place. The shooting of Soldier went on, and We've been to Sydney. We went to New Zealand. In fact, there's this bridge in Sydney. It's a Sydney Harbour Bridge, and I have gone on top of that and played a drum set on top, and it was just fun shooting for that film, you know. And I still remember, I never used to like to wear, you know, sleeveless or anything, and the title track when I was shooting for that, my wife was there and she's convinced me to wear a sleeveless waistcoat. And so that's how I first time was trying to show my little muscles those days. See, Gupt, I think till date is one of the best soundtracks I ever had. I think it was the best soundtrack Viju Shah ever created. And I think Rajiv Rai has made some amazing movies with great songs, but I think his Gupt, the kind of music he made Viju give in that film was, I think, awesome. I still remember uh, the first time I heard the songs, I was like, wow, I mean, what music. And during the time, I used to even, you know, I was like very young and I used to like techno music and I used to love acid and all that kind of music, you know. So acid jazz. And so there were some soundtracks which I had, and I used to discuss with Rajiv, and I used to say, you know, why don't you use this track in the song and use this track in this place and that place? And he actually used it, and I was so happy because he used those, because he also used to love that kind of music. So I think I still remember shooting for Dunya Hasino Ka Mela. I mean, I was so nervous because there was so much dancing in that, and I used to rehearse before every shot, like I don't know how many times. That there were no air conditioned sets those days, there were no ACs, so I used to be drenched with sweat. I don't know how many pairs of jeans. I used to keep changing my t-shirts because I kept practicing, and I think the song turned out so well. I mean, it became such a huge craze, and I was I was always very sure about the music of that film. That's one film that the music I was very, very, very confident about. Ajnabi, the funniest thing is when I was shooting for Soldier, I remember we were shooting a sequence where I and Preeti come in a helicopter and we land at Preeti's house. And I was in that house, and Abbas and Muslim Bhai were discussing Ajnabi with me at that point. And they wanted me to play the negative character. And I was like really excited because that character was really interesting. And, for me to play something like that, in such an early stage of my career. But by the time I finished Soldier, they decided that, you've already played negative shade in Soldier. So in this, we'll make you the positive character. So that's how I played the character I played in Ajnabi. And I think Ajnabi again, I mean, shooting with Abbas and Muslim Bhai has always been fun. The funniest line they would say, हाँ तो कल सुबह ना आराम से ना तू 7 बजे आ जाना shot के लिए. I'm like, हाँ जी हाँ जी. So that became like a joke between us. Every time I'd ask them, so कल कितने बजे आना है? तो they would say, हाँ तू कल ना आराम से 8 बजे आ जाना. Apne was a very emotional film. I think the subject was such an amazing subject, and for me, it was the first time I was going to work with my father. and my brother together in one film. And I think that was the best thing about it because I always dreamt to be in a film with my dad. You know, so for me, Apne was is always going to be a special film. Definitely, I didn't get enough time to work out and build a physique in that film. I always regret that, but that's the only thing I regret about it. Otherwise, because everything happened so fast that I didn't get, I needed at least 8 to 9 months to get into the shape of a boxer, but I didn't get the chance. But I was still happy. The film was loved by a lot of millions of people, and till date, you know, people always that song "Apne To Apne Hote Hain" is such a it gives you goosebumps, you know, every time you hear that song. So I think it's just an amazing song. See, Jhoom Barabar Jhoom, I think my character I got to play again was I really enjoyed that character. I think playing that character was so much fun because he had, you know, it was a mama's boy and how he is forced into portraying this larger than life character. So it was just fun shooting for that film. I really enjoyed. We shot in London, and I still remember shooting that climax song, which we shot for almost a month. You know, and I remember while shooting that song, I was at Yasha Studios, and I walked into a glass door, and because I couldn't make out there was glass, and I banged my forehead so badly that I had a bump. So eventually, if you notice in that song, suddenly me and Abhishek are wearing a headband. You know, we've tied that cloth on the head because my bump had become so big. Again, that was the most challenging character for me to play. I mean, imagine playing Shahid Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh, you know, Shahid Bhagat Singh is such a, I mean, amazing personality, and to portray him was a big challenge. And again, the sad part was at that same time there were three other films being made, and there was a fight to who, there was like a race to who finishes first. I wish that never happened because I think Gudu Bhaiya, who directed my Shahid, the movie, he did a great job, and I think everybody in it, the way it was shot, you know, it was done in such a amazing way in that short span of time. So I really, really, you know, I wish that that didn't happen. That there were three, four movies being made at the same time. For me, I decided very consciously to do different kinds of characters. Now, in this phase of my career, I was looking to do like as an actor play characters which are you know scripts which are very character driven, and I was looking for that. And Class of '83 for me was an amazing character, but I was never the first choice for it, which my director told me afterwards, Atul. But I was very lucky to get it, and I really enjoyed playing that character. I think for me, there was a cop being shown in a different light, and it was more about his personal issues mixed with his, you know, his want to be a successful and a honest cop. So that kind of character and playing that age and you know, I just could kind of relate with it because I've been through so many ups and downs in my life, and I've seen, you know, failure and how you get pushed away and how you want to do the right thing and you don't get opportunities. So I could relate with that. And for me, Ashram definitely was a big bold step. I remember the day when I got a phone call from Shruti Mahajan. She's a casting agent. She called up and said to me that because she had called me sometime earlier, some years back, and she said, "This time I'm calling you. It's a great subject. It's a web series. It's being directed by Prakash Jha, and it's called Ashram." And I just heard Prakash Jha, and I was excited because I've been wanting to work with him since many years. In fact, in these 25 years, there was once or twice a chance where I could have worked with him, but it didn't materialize. Then when I went to his office and he narrated the idea to me, so I said, it's very interesting. And then when he told me that I want you to play Baba's character, I was like, for a few seconds, I was like, am I hearing the right thing? But for me, I was trying to look for different characters, playing negative characters, playing, you know, different shades of characters. And here I was being given it to me. It was given to me in my hands. So I really worked hard for that character because he speaks and, you know, he has command over his language. He influences people with the way he speaks. So I sat for a month or so with Sunita ji and worked on my lines. And then eventually I knew if on set, I I wanted to play it my way. I didn't want to play it like a caricature. I didn't want to play like Baba to ऐसे बात करेगा वैसे बात करेगा हाथ के gesture ज़्यादा करेगा. I just wanted to play it in a very different way. And because when you're Babas have that power, they can influence people. People are already mesmerized by them. So all I needed to do was just speak calmly and speak with my eyes. So I think it was challenging in that way, but I knew Prakashji was on set, and I was just so happy that the success Ashram has received, the appreciation I've received. I was so nervous because I didn't even tell my mom and dad I was playing a negative character. Because you know how it is. Earlier on, there was every actor had an image, and I still remember my dad. He played a negative character in one film, and my grandmother walked off after half the movie and was very upset with my father. So I knew, I mean, my dad, if I have to tell him that I'm playing something like this, he wouldn't agree on it. Not that he influences me on whatever I choose as my decision. So I just, when it released and when the response they saw, they were so happy and they were like, "Nee, I'm very proud of you." My father, in fact, I was just talking to him in the morning today, and he was like, "You know what? I still haven't seen it fully, but I was so happy that the amount of appreciation and people have been sending for you, and the messages I'm getting." So I think I worked hard, and when you get the appreciation, it really makes you feel so overwhelmed.